Okay, we're on page 202 at the bottom. Nun Hey on top. We're still in the middle of Parak Mem. It's a long parak, by the way. Okay, so the Alter Rebbe is explaining that you have the action of the mitzvah and then you have the kavanah of the mitzvah. Whether it's a habitual kavanah, I mean, you just don't awaken an open love for Hashem within you. So then it goes up to the world of Yitzira. If you have the, work kavanah, you have to, you meditate, and then the mitzvah goes up to the world of Bria. Okay? But he says now, 5 lines in the end of the page, not in the side comment. Now we can understand how the chimu, fear and love of Hashem are called gatfim, are called wings in the Zohar. In the Zohar, they call them wings. Well, like it says in the pasuk, Ushtayim Yosef, it means with the 2 of them did he fly. It refers to the malachim. Like the Rabbi Chaim Vital writes in Shayach Chudim Perikal. What are wings of a bird? The wings by a bird is Reya Sa'adam are like the hands of a person. Birds don't have their feet. They don't have hands. So their 2 wings is like by us, right hand and left hand. But the Kunim Pirush, in Kunim Zer it says, it's ones people who occupy themselves in Torah mitzvahs. Betchilu rechima with fear and love. Okay? Nikroim banim. Then they're called children of Hashem, humans that have right hand and left hand. Bimlav, and if not, meaning they don't have this love and the fear, which is right wing and left wing, Nikroim efrechem, they're called young chicks that are not able to fly. Little birds can't fly yet. What it means like this, let me explain this outside and we're going to learn through the whole thing. The 2 wings of a bird, if he's going to explain now, halachically, you take away the wings, the bird could still live. You could shech the bird, you could eat it, it's kosher. It's not called treifa, an animal that's going to die from no wings, and therefore, even if you shecht it, you can't eat it. What is the purpose of the wings? The purpose of the wings is for the bird to fly. The bird can live without wings, but it's a freichim, it's the fledglings that don't fly anymore. They can't go up. So therefore, spiritually speaking, the right wing that makes it go up means the life of the bird. That's called chesed, love. The left wing of the bird is called gevura, or fear. So the 2 wings, the chilu or the chimu, fear and love, those are the 2 wings of the bird. The right wing is called chesed. The left wing is called gevura. When a person has both wings, then the bird flies up. Meaning, when a Jew does a mitzvah with love and fear, and again, it could be habitual love and fear, it could be meditated love and fear, it doesn't matter. If you have love and fear in the mitzvah, the bird is going to fly up, the mitzvah is going to fly in. By a person, we don't have wings. We have right hand and left hand. Those of the men that say Pasach Aliyah Friday night, in Pasach Aliyah, which is part of the Zohar that Eliyahu Navi is saying, we say Chesed D'Roya Yamina. Chesed is the right hand. Gevura D'Roya Smala. Gevura, severity, is the left hand. Tiferes Gufa. Tiferes is the body. Then you have the 2 legs. Okay? So let me explain this. A person is born in the image of Hashem. Okay? It says in the Torah, Hashem created us in his image. Now, what does it mean a person, not man, I mean mankind. Men and women are created in the image of Hashem. We know if you ever look at Kabbalah pictures from proper Kabbalah places, you have right, left, center, right, left, center, right, left, center. Okay? So in the spheres, the way the spheres are, the attributes of the world, you have what's called Kesed. Kesed, the crown, is above the head. Okay? Kesed is a level of godliness which is higher than the intellect and emotions, which is where the person begins. The height of the person begins in the head, and then you have the heart. Okay? But in the body of a human, you have a right hand, a left hand, and a body. Then you have the right foot, left foot, and the middle part of the body. Those correspond with the 10 spheres. The intellect is Chochma, Bina, and Das, because the hands are Chesed and Gvura. The mind has in it Chochma, Bina, and Das, wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. Then it breaks out into the spheres. So the right hand represents Chesed, the left hand represents Gevura, the body represents Tiferes. Then you have Netzach, Ched, Yesod, and Malchus. I'm not getting into the whole diagram now. So what does it mean a person is born in the image of Hashem? Just like Hashem, there's Ava and Yira and Tiferes, right, left, center, right, left, center. That's how the 10 spheres are put out. And like we discussed Pesach, that's why the Seder plate, according to the Arizal, that most of the world uses, is Zeraya, Beitza, Modar in the middle, Charesis, Karpas, Modar, right, left, center, right, left, center. Because that's the image of God. Therefore, we are created in the image of Hashem. Not only that, intellect is higher than Midas. Chochmah, Bin, and Das is higher than Chesed, Gvura, Tiferes, the emotional attributes of godliness. So therefore, we are born in the image of God. So just like by a bird, the two wings are there to make the bird fly up. So the same thing, we have a right hand and a left hand. Okay? In fact, we say in Az Yasher, Yemincha Hashem Nadari Bakayach, Yemincha Hashem Tiratzei. What's the double Yemin? Because over there by Kriyas Yamsuf, Hashem's left hand of severity became Chesed. But normally, the person has, and this is what Dr. Rebbe is saying, now we can understand what the Zera, now that we explained before, that in order for the mitzvah to fly up, it needs to have love and fear, whether it's, again, habitual or premeditated, love and fear. But now we can understand why the mitzvahs say without chilu or chimu, they don't fly upward, because you need and he says on page 110 on top, fifth line from the top, sixth line from the top. Just like the wings of the bird. Is not the primary life of the bird. Then and its life is not dependent on it, like the Mishnah says. If the wings were cut off or taken away, whatever shade is kosher, what is the primary life of the bird? The primary life of the bird is the head and the body of the bird. But the wings, what are the purpose of the wings by a bird? They are the servants of the head of the bird and the body of the bird, the parchabain, to fly up. That's the function of wings. The purpose of wings is not the vitality and the life of the bird. The bird wings are to make the bird fly. He says, Kach derech mashol. The same thing is in Yiddishkeit. Torah mitzvahs themselves. And Iker HaYichud Elyon is the primary unity with Hashem. Through the revelation of the will of Hashem in a mitzvah. What is a mitzvah? It's what Hashem wants us to do. A mitzvah means it's revealing the will of Hashem, what He wants. Hamizgala Yedem, which becomes revealed through mitzvahs. So therefore, what's the right hand and the left hand by a person? Love and fear. Meaning, the fear and love. Elevates the mitzvah Lamokim sheyis galabe, to the place where godliness could be revealed, to reveal Ratzon earnings of Baruch Hu, and the Yichud, like you said before, is in the world of Yetzirah or Bria. If it's out of habit, the natural love, it goes to the Yetzirah. If you have an intellectual stimulation, it goes to the world of Bria. And he says, so now Dr. Rebbe is going to ask a question himself, which is a very interesting question he's going to ask. So he says, what's the purpose of wings? To fly. It's not the bird itself. The same thing he says, love and fear is not the primary aspect of mitzvahs. It's to make the mitzvahs fly up. Without the Rebbe is going to ask, but love and fear is also a mitzvah. Here we're saying it's not a mitzvah, it's just to make the mitzvah fly up. He says, 6 lines in the end of the page. There's a mitzvah in the Torah. There's a mitzvah in the Torah. It says Hashem Elokecha Tira. There's a mitzvah to love Hashem. There's a mitzvah to fear Hashem. How could they be wings if they're part of the existence? He said, nevertheless, Nikra got from the still called wings. Why? What is the ultimate level of Avodah? Me'ava, with out of love. Now he says, Ava bali Avodah, if you're going to have love without service, is Ava b'tainugim, is just delighting in God, which is the Ein Olam Haba, which is similar to Olam Haba, the Kabbalah schar and the receiving of the reward, but Hayem la'sesim. So he says like this. There's the mitzvah of Ava v'yira. It's a mitzvah that needs to be done. And he said, because what happens though if you have love without doing a mitzvah? I love Hashem, but I'm not going to do any mitzvahs. Can you imagine a husband saying to his wife, I love you very much, but don't ask me to do anything in the house. I respect you very much, but forget it. I'm not going to do anything. So yes, Ava and Yira is a mitzvah by itself. Okay? If you have Ava, you're going to go love Hashem, so you'll have like a pleasure like Gan Eden. But that's not the Aveda. Aveda is Torah mitzvahs with the additional spirit of love and fear. That makes the mitzvah fly up. That is the wings, the right wing and the left wing, the right hand and the left hand. That's the guy that has an aspect of Ava. A tzaddik can have Ava by itself as a mitzvah and reach the highest levels. But a person that didn't reach this level, to taste Olam Haba, but his soul is longing. He's not the level of tzaddikim that are there already. I'll explain this in a second also. Smeil Hashem, the kol sa'el of kol hayom, and he's longing to Hashem a whole day. And he doesn't quench his thirst. The me'at teira shalafana, with the water of teira that's in front of him, is kamisha emed benar, is similar to somebody standing by a river and screaming, water, water. You have water right in front of you. Let me explain what this means. Dr. Rebbe explained earlier in Tanya, there's 2 levels of love. There's infinite, he said. There's Ava Rabba and Ava B'Tanugim. We'll understand it in the physical realm of relationships. You have somebody you love very much, and you're with them. Okay? You don't have a longing love to them because you're there with them. Longing is, as the expression goes, abstinence makes the heart grow fonder. A longing love is when you feel distant from them and you love them so much that you want to be with them. That's a longing level of love. A love that you're there, it's like you buy water and you're screaming, water, water. You're there. What are you screaming about? There's no longing anymore because you're there. A higher level of tzaddikim, by the way, is Ava B'Tanugim. Ava B'Tanugim means the tzaddik is so close to Hashem. He's there. There's a lower level of love officially that's called, I'm not at that level yet. I feel distant from Hashem. But my love is a longing love rather than a enjoyable love that I'm with them. So level-wise, Ava B'Tainugim means a higher level of relationship with Hashem. You're enjoying godliness. This distance, kol sanafshu, a person that's longing to Hashem, his level of love is not because he's close to Hashem. On the contrary, he's wanting to be close to Hashem because of his distance. That is a stronger and desirable love than love if you're there already. Everybody knows when you have a close relative that you really want to be with and they're distant, it's a very strong, powerful longing that you have. The longing is love. The longing is because I love them. That's why we learned many times in Tilim, David HaMelech says, this is one of the Nigunim the Rebbe taught, Sama L'cha Nafshi, David HaMelech says the pasuk, my soul is thirsty to you. Kama L'cha Besari, my soul is longing to you. The Eretz Sia V'Oyev, in a dry, desolate land, B'li Moyim, without water. He says, Kain Ba'Kedesh Chazisicha. Chassidus explains, Kain means halavai. It should only be that Ba'Kedesh, when I'm in the Yerushalayim, in the Beis Hamikdash, which didn't exist yet in this time, but whatever, the Mishkan, Chazisicha should have the same seeing and longing for you. David HaMelech, when he was away from Yerushalayim, David HaMelech is teaching us there's a longing of Hashem, which is distant. But that love is not, it's not a greater level of love, but it's a stronger love. There's an advantage of the stronger, distant love than there is when you're close to somebody. And now the Rebbe says the guy that's in the Olam Haba, I mean, the main Olam Haba is like in this world, and he a guy that wants the longing though. Like he stands there by a river and screams, "My lishtes," and he says, "Hey, kol tzamei l'chol mayim." The famous passage, the Navi said, "Whoever is thirsty, go drink." Now, what does it mean? A person is the pasuk saying, "If you're thirsty to learn, go learn." Of course. What's the pasuk? Hey, kol tzamei. Every pasuk in Tanakh is super infinite hope, infinite. The pasuk "Hey kol tzamei l'chol mayim," which simply means, "Hey, whoever is thirsty, go take a drink." I mean, duh. Well, what do you? And if I need a pasuk to tell me go take a drink, and without the pasuk, I wouldn't know you can take a drink. It means that the Navi is screaming that you should have, if you have a thirst, a longing. Go learn Torah to quench your thirst. The learning has to be in a way that if he's thirsty, then he has to quench the thirst. How do you quench the thirst? How does the neshama quench his thirst? There's only one way. The neshama quenches his thirst by learning and doing mitzvahs. That's the only thing that quenches the neshama. Hacking a chainik or whatever is not going to do it. A person is longing to Hashem. And this is, like he says, like it said, so the Alter Rebbe is saying there is this level of love that a person needs to have the wings. They need to have this longing love or Ava B'Tainugim that they're there already, but this love causes them to go upward. The longing love, by the way, is very powerful. Based on what we learned this during the week in Chassidus. The Baal Shem Tov said, "B'makom sheretzonei shel adam sham hu nimsa." The Baal Shem Tov said, in the place where a person wants to be, That's where he is. And the Rebbe quoted, like everything in Chassidus, where's the source of it in Gemara? So the Gemara says, if somebody wants to walk, on Shabbos you can only walk, it's called Tchum Shabbos. You're only allowed to walk up to 2,000 ames, like 3,000 feet outside the city. What happens if a guy needs to walk further? So before Shabbos begins, you put some bread or food, okay, right before the 2,000 ames end, and then you can walk another 2,000 ames. Why is that? Why does that work? Because the Gemara says a person's mind is where his food is. So just like if I stood there before Shabbos, yeah, I could walk another 2,000 amas. So by me putting my food there, when my mind is in my food, so therefore it's like I'm there. That's what the Gemara says. So that's exactly what the Baal Shem Tov said. Where you want to be, that's where you are. You can have two kids in a classroom or outside the classroom. One kid is sitting in the classroom looking out, daydreaming, looking outside the window. You're going to have another kid that's outside the room looking in. Where are they? The kid that's in the room looking outside, he's outside, he's not in the classroom. The person looking inside from the outside because he wants to be there, so he's in the classroom. The longing of the Jew, in the place where the person's, this longing to be with Hashem is the connection. And this is how the Alter Rebbe explained way earlier in Tanya, what the Gemara says about tshuva. There's a level of tshuva. Sometimes the lower level of tshuva makes intentional sins, like accidental sins. Another level of tshuva makes sins like they're erased. The highest level of tshuva, that's called tshuva me'ahava, which is an extremely, extremely lofty level of tshuva. Gemara says, Zdainis nasalek ezachis. His avedas become mitzvahs. How could that be that a person, by doing an aveda, and doing tshuva, the aveda becomes a mitzvah? I understand the aveda is erased. How could an aveda become a mitzvah? So the Alter Rebbe explained very simple. What does the word mitzvah mean? Binding and connection. That's what the word mitzvah means. When a person was very far, he sinned, terrible sins. And now he's doing tshuva. What is the tshuva? He's longing to be back with Hashem. That longing to be back with Hashem, that itself is the connection. The longing to be with Hashem is the connection. So therefore, the Avedas become a mitzvah. What does mitzvah mean? Connection. The Avedas become a mitzvah means the Aveda through tshuva, that becomes the connection with Hashem. That becomes one with Hashem. And that's a remarkable concept. And we're going to finish here because we finished Perek Mem. In Mitzvah next time we'll start the famous Perek called Perek Mem Aleph. But what the point is, Kavanah intended the mitzvah is to make the relationship with Hashem, bring the mitzvah up to Hashem. It's not staying down here. It's going up with Hashem. And that's the ultimate level. Okay, this week, Shabbos Mavarchim, don't forget, Mitzvah Monday night, 8:30, Parsha. Until then, everybody have a good Shabbos and a great week.